Queen bee, want no smoke with me. Okay. Been turn this motherfucker up 800 degree. Whole team eat chefs cause she's a.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the KBreDazz reaction. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Okay, so y'all want to see part 2 of the Black Sister origins explained Bellatrix Lestrange, Narcissa Malfoy, and Armanda Tonks. Alright, y'all, let's get into this video.
The other Death Eaters that got caught that night. This affected Narcissa and Draco the most, being put in the spotlight. Dumbledore said that Lucius was probably happy to be in Azkaban because of how angry Voldemort was at him for failing the mission as the leader, forcing Voldemort to reveal himself for the first time. He's back! And getting himself and a bunch of other Death Eaters locked in Azkaban. Since Voldemort couldn't punish Lucius, he came up with another way to punish his whole family by giving Draco the impossible task of killing Dumbledore. Draco officially became a Death Eater the summer after the battle in the Department of Mysteries, and he was to complete the task during his 6th year at Hogwarts.
They gave him the task to kill Dumbledore.
Bellatrix trained her nephew to prepare him. She taught him how to block jinxes, taught him the art of occlumency, meaning blocking someone from reading your minds, and a few other things to ensure that he was well prepared for his mission. Narcissa was worried for her son, who she loved more than anything in the world, and she went as far as to go to Severus Snape for help, accompanied by her sister Bellatrix. Narcissa was hysterical, crying in her hands, and she thought that Voldemort was sending Draco on a suicide mission. There is nothing I wouldn't do anymore. She begged Snape to help Draco on his mission, and he agreed. Bellatrix, however, didn't trust Snape, and thought he wasn't loyal to the Dark Lord. Bellatrix started to question Snape, and Snape answered all of her questions, but she still wasn't satisfied. To ensure his loyalty to the Dark Lord, and to satisfy Bellatrix, she asked him to make the unbreakable vow with Narcissa about helping Draco with his mission.
Will you, Severus Snape, watch over Draco Malfoy as he attempts to fulfill the Dark Lord's wishes?
I will.
If you break an unbreakable vow, you die. And by doing this, Snape would prove his loyalty to the Dark Lord to satisfy Bellatrix. During the school year, Draco repaired a vanishing cabinet to ensure that Bellatrix and a few other Death Eaters, along with a werewolf named Greyback, could come into the Hogwarts grounds. Draco went to kill Dumbledore, but he couldn't do it, and Snape fulfilled the unbreakable vow and killed Dumbledore.
Avada Kedavra.
Bellatrix, Snape, and the others led Draco away from the school. As they were leaving Hogwarts, Bellatrix caught Hagrid's hut on fire and went after Harry.
No. He belongs to the Dark Lord.
They ended up escaping the Hogwarts grounds and disapparated. That summer, Voldemort freed all the Death Eaters in Azkaban, including Lucius.
What a mugshot.
Voldemort, still angry with Lucius for failing to retrieve the prophecy, commanded Lucius and Narcissa to allow their manor to be the base of operations for Voldemort and his army. Bellatrix was honored to have Voldemort in their house, but Lucius and Narcissa were not too pleased. Voldemort openly mocked their family at a Death Eater meeting by mentioning their sister Andromeda marrying a mudblood, their niece marrying a werewolf, Remus Lupin, and their disgraceful relation to blood traders, mudbloods, and werewolves, along with taking Lucius's wand.
My lord, I require your wand.
One of the most disrespectful things you can do in the wizarding world. At this Death Eater meeting, they were discussing Harry being moved from his home at Privet Drive to another location and how they were going to capture him. Harry had 6 decoys, so there were 7 Harrys, and Voldemort and his Death Eaters didn't know which one was which. Each Harry was going to a different location, and the location that the real Harry was going to was Andromeda and Ted Tonks' house. Their daughter, Nymphadora, was one of the ones escorting a decoy and was going to a different location. When Harry arrived at the Tonks' house, along with Hagrid, who had escorted him, Andromeda was worried for the safety of her daughter. What happened to our daughter? Hagrid said you were ambushed. Where is Nymphadora? I don't know. We don't know what happened to anyone else. She and Ted exchanged looks. Dora will be okay, Andromeda. She knows her stuff. She's been in plenty of tight spots with the Aurors. During the ambush, Bellatrix and her husband Rodolphus went after her niece Tonks and tried very hard to kill her, but was unsuccessful when Ron, who was flying with Tonks disguised as one of the decoy Harrys, ended up hurting Rodolphus in the fight, shooting a spell directly at his face, allowing for their escape. While Hagrid and Harry were still at the Tonks house, Andromeda tended to Hagrid's wounds and sent them to the Burrow with a portkey, and asked them to send word as soon as they find out about their daughter. When Nymphadora arrived at the Burrow, they let Ted and Andromeda know that she was okay. When the Ministry fell and Voldemort took control, Andromeda and Ted were interrogated and tortured by Death Eaters, trying to get information about Harry and the Order out of them, but they refused to talk. Lupin, their son-in-law, later said that they were shaken, but they were okay. Around that same time, Andromeda and Ted found out that they were going to be grandparents, and that their daughter was pregnant with a baby boy. Their son-in-law, Lupin, ended up leaving their daughter after this, wanting to help Harry on his mission, and also because he was terrified that his son would be a werewolf like him.
Dude
Tonks wanted to
looks
stay at
like,
her parents'
how
house
old is
during
she,
this
man?
time, until Lupin finally
He
came to his
looks like
senses and
20
returned
years
to his
older
wife
than her
and
age.
unborn son. Teddy Lupin was born a few months after that, and Andromeda became a proud grandmother. When Voldemort took over the Ministry, they began persecuting Muggleborns through the Muggleborn Registration Commission, which charged Muggleborns with having stolen their magic and their wands from real witches and wizards. And Ted, being Muggleborn, was forced to go on the run. This left Andromeda all alone. She was of course safe because she was pureblood, being from the noble Black family. Voldemort ordered Bellatrix to put a fake sword of Gryffindor, which they thought was the real one, in her family vault to keep it safe. Harry, Ron, and Hermione had the real sword, and were captured by Snatchers later that year, and were brought to Malfoy Manor, where Bellatrix and the Malfoy family were. Bellatrix saw one of the Snatchers with the sword, and freaked out because she thought that they went into her vault.
Where'd you get that from?
It was in her bag when we searched her. Reckon it's mine now.
Ooh. I reckon
Bellatrix
not.
ordered Draco to either kill or drag the Snatchers' bodies away, and Narcissa argued with her sister. "Don't you dare speak to Draco like, be quiet. The situation is graver than you could possibly imagine, sissy." Bellatrix then started to torture Hermione and question her about the sword.
Her breath probably hot. What the?
Harry and Ron fought back and ended up getting the upper hand until Bellatrix put a knife to Hermione's throat and demanded that they drop their wands.
Drop your wands.
And they obeyed. She then called Voldemort with the Dark Mark.
Call him.
Dobby the House Elf, the former House Elf of the Malfoys, came to save Harry and his friends.
How dare you defy your masters! Dobby has no master.
Alright,
When
Dobby.
Dobby disapparated with Harry and all the others,
Or was that when he
Bellatrix
died,
threw a
y'all?
knife at them, and it ended up stabbing Dobby, leading to his death.
Dobby's happy to be with friend.
Voldemort was furious that Bellatrix, Narcissa, and Lucius had allowed Harry to escape, and punished them severely. When Voldemort learned that Harry was at Hogwarts, he and all of his Death Eaters went there, and the Battle of Hogwarts took place. To ensure her son's safety, Narcissa gave Draco her wand, because his had been stolen by Harry at Malfoy Manor before their escape. This made both Narcissa and
Draco is
Lucius
so weak.
wandless in the battle, as Voldemort had taken Lucius's wand months before, as I mentioned earlier. During the battle, Bellatrix dueled her niece Nymphadora Tonks, and although Tonks put up a good fight, Bellatrix got the upper hand and silenced her niece once and for all.
Oh.
Tonks' husband Lupin was also killed in the battle, orphaning their baby boy, Teddy.
Oh.
Voldemort ordered a ceasefire and told Harry to come meet him in the Forbidden Forest to give himself up, and he used the killing curse on Harry. Voldemort was knocked down after he cast a spell, and Bellatrix attempted to help her master up, but he pushed her away. He then ordered someone to check to see if Harry was dead, and Narcissa stepped forward because she saw it as an opportunity to see if her son was okay. She realized that Harry was still alive, and she whispered to him.
Is he alive? Draco, is he alive?
Harry nodded his head yes, and Narcissa, now grateful to Harry, betrayed Voldemort and said that Harry was dead. Harry understood. Narcissa knew that the only way she would be permitted to enter Hogwarts and find her son was as part of the conquering army. She no longer cared whether Voldemort won. Voldemort took Harry's supposed dead body back to the castle and told everyone it was over. Neville Longbottom then stepped forward
Neville.
and killed Voldemort's snake and started the fight again. Harry, who was still pretending to be dead on the ground, saw Lucius and Narcissa running through the crowd, not even attempting to fight, screaming and looking for their son. Bellatrix continued to fight and was the last Death Eater standing, making it just her and Voldemort. She cast a killing curse at Ginny Weasley that nearly got her, which enraged Ginny's mother, Molly Weasley.
Not my daughter, you bitch.
Bellatrix taunted Mrs. Weasley while they fought, bringing up her
Hey,
son
didn't I
who
see
had
this?
died during the battle. And while Bellatrix laughed at Molly, she was hit by a killing curse square in the chest directly over her heart. Bellatrix's gloating smile froze. Her eyes seemed to bulge. For the tiniest space of time, she knew what had happened, and then she toppled. Voldemort screamed with rage when he saw this happen, once again showing that she was the closest thing to affection he ever felt. After the battle, Narcissa and her family were reunited in the Great Hall, where they seemed uncomfortable being there, but did not leave. Because Narcissa had betrayed Voldemort and the entire family had stopped fighting, they were all forgiven for their crimes and were all set free. Andromeda and Ted were devastated to hear about their daughter and son-in-law's deaths. They would get custody of their grandson, Teddy Lupin, and would raise him the way that they thought their daughter would have. Narcissa Malfoy eventually became a grandmother to Scorpius Malfoy, who she loved very much. And Draco married Astoria Greengrass. The Black Sisters were raised in a dark family. Bellatrix embraced the darkness and took it to new levels. Andromeda chose a different lifestyle than her family expected, showing that she had a true heart through and through. And Narcissa chose a dark path, but proved that she had light in her heart just like her sister Andromeda. Each sister had a fascinating tale, and all got the endings that they deserved.
Well, they ended the way they should have ended. Now, how many people wanted another movie after this? And anyway, yeah, so that was the Black Sister Origins explained, which is really telling the ending of the series, but not a whole lot. I'm probably still going to watch Deathly Hallows 1 and 2 just to, finish the series out. I did watch Harry Potter when I was growing up. I didn't see Deathly Hallows 1 or 2. Didn't see Order of the Phoenix, I guess, because I have no idea who she was, and if Fedora was. But yeah. Alright, y'all, this is part 2. Hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, you guys. Give it a thumbs up. It really does make a difference when you guys give the video a thumbs up. Or a thumbs down. It just makes a difference. Yeah. Give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe. Push that bell to be notified when this video drops, y'all. This has been a mission completion. And out of here.
Queen bee, want no smoke with me. Been turn this motherfucker.